I'm Jada Franson and this is my weekly roundup. So all week we've been wearing our poppies with pride, and the poppy is a symbol of remembrance for our fallen, our war heroes, those who have sacrificed so much for us. But true to form, this symbol just isn't enough for certain people. No, the LGBT community have to go and bastardise the symbol of remembrance for our war dead and turn it into a rainbow poppy. As if this concept isn't outrageous enough, just bear in mind that the LGBT community have an entire month dedicated to celebrating them. Our war dead have one day, yet the LGBT community simply cannot resist turning absolutely everything they can get their mitts on into a rainbow. Here's my message to the LGBT community. How about for once, you guys just have some respect, allow another portion of society to be remembered and celebrated without turning it into some kind of rainbow fest and without making everything about you and your sexuality. Quite frankly, no one cares. The poppy is a symbol of remembrance for everyone who fought, everyone who sacrificed, everyone who died, regardless of their sexuality. We don't care. We are remembering them with a red poppy. Leave it there. As the Brexit saga continues and the EU are now working in cahoots with the British government to try and split the union of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, patriots have taken to the streets.
Now it's time for us to show this establishment, not just these traitors behind us.
Outside the EU commissions of London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, Belfast, people have taken to the streets and rallied against the Betrayal Act.
Say, in England right now, this event is not an isolated event. We've got people in London. There's people outside the European Commission offices in London. We've got people in Edinburgh. They're protesting outside the European Commission offices in Edinburgh. We've got them in Cardiff. So this is a UK-wide demonstration.
Right now, our union, our precious union, is on a knife's edge.
Unionists all over the United Kingdom have made it very clear. We will not stand for this level of betrayal by Boris Johnson and the European Union.
It's time for action. We have heard the words of loyalists and unionists, and God bless them, across Northern Ireland coming together. Everyone trying to do their bit for this union.
We need to mobilise, and we need to get tens of thousands of people on the street, and we need to get boots to the ballot box. Yes, we need to kick the Remain parties in the ballot box where it hurts.
Our union is precious, it's sacred to us, and we will do anything necessary to protect it. Once again, Facebook and Twitter prove just how unbiased and impartial they are by removing all and any content that refers to a certain whistleblower.
So the whistleblower is a disgrace to our country, a disgrace. And the whistleblower, because of that, should be revealed.
As the enemies within the US try to impeach the president, calls for the whistleblower to be named are ever growing.
The whistleblower needs to come before Congress as a material witness because he worked for Joe Biden at the same time Hunter Biden was getting money from corrupt oligarchs. I say tonight to the media, do your job and print his name.
And when it was suggested that President Donald Trump might be protected by the Sixth Amendment, just like any other US citizen, this is what the Democrats had to say about that.
So suddenly, the Sixth Amendment right for a defendant to confront the accuser is being applied to impeachment proceedings. Never been done before. And by doing this, the good senator from Kentucky, in my view, totally undermines the whistleblower protection. And so to call his bill the Whistleblower Protection Act of 2019 is, in my view, laughable.
Yes, the same people that are always banging on about equality and justice are suggesting that the notion that the President of the United States be protected by the US Constitution is laughable.
Mr. President, reserving the right to object, I'm disappointed that any senator would come to the floor and find the Bill of Rights laughable. The Sixth Amendment is an important part of our Constitution, and the right to face your accusers is incredibly important. It's disappointing that in these highly partisan times that an actual U.S. senator would come to the floor and say that it's laughable that we would apply the Bill of Rights to the president. I'm very disappointed it's come to this, but I hope Americans will say and try to look at this with a more fair mind and say, absolutely, the president deserves the same protections that the rest of us deserve.
Nothing is safe from the PC Brigade. Even Christmas songs.
The backlash this morning over John Legend and Kelly Clarkson's brand new version of the Christmas classic, Baby It's Cold Outside.
You all know this is an absolute Christmas classic, but in recent years it's actually been referred to as a date rape anthem.
Some say it may be too politically correct.
John Legend and Kelly Clarkson have taken it upon themselves to join the PC Brigade and rewrite Dean Martin's Christmas classic, Baby It's Cold Outside.
Here's a line from the original.
Mind if I'm moving? At least I'm gonna say that I tried. What's the sense of hurting my pride?
The new Legend Clarkson version leaves that out and replaces it with
Then you really ought to go. Well, Murray, he just pulled up outside.
and here's another.
Say, what's in this no drink? Cabs to be had out there.
That's replaced with
It's your body and your choice.
Feeding the frenzy of the Me Too movement. Somehow John Legend and Kelly Clarkson have overlooked the millions of verses in rap and grime music that speak of women in the most heinous terms, that talk about violence, that talk about drug use, that talk about rape, that talk about women as though we are absolute trash. The most degrading lyrics about women are contained in these genres of music.
You hoes are horrible, horrendous. On taxes, y'all writing off hoes independent.
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
But oh no, John Legend and Kelly Clarkson think that the real danger is a well-known and much-loved Christmas song that was written in 1944. Here's the thing. I actually like the music of John Legend and Kelly Clarkson. But if I didn't, I just wouldn't listen to it. There's lots of music out there that I'm fond of, and there's lots that I'm not. And I have the choice as to whether I listen to it or not. If I don't like it, I don't listen.
Deanna Martin, daughter of Dean Martin, who popularized the song in 1959, thinks hands off.
I don't think that John Legend should have changed the lyrics. I think leave a tender moment alone.
I would suggest that John Legend and Kelly Clarkson just weren't getting enough attention, and this stunt has certainly pushed them into the limelight. Well done, guys. Next time, how about just write a decent track of your own and leave the classics alone? Earlier this week, someone sent me a link to an article in The Guardian. I know what you're thinking, just hear me out. This article was written by Polly Toynbee. In her article, she states that perhaps it's time to reflect on how long we keep remembrance going. Polly isn't happy with the fact that we have to keep remembering our war dead. She thinks it's time for us to just let it go. Stop all of the remembrance services, stop the memorial services, stop wearing the poppy, stop thinking about all of this stuff that's happened in the past and let's move on. Polly goes on to say, remembrance of things past can be a British burden. Here's what I would say to Polly. Burden is not standing at a memorial service Burden is not wearing a poppy as a symbol of remembrance. Burden is the sacrifice of the millions of men who fought, bled, and died for us. Burden is the men that lost their friends, their comrades, their limbs to protect us. Burden is being cold and lonely and scared in the trenches, being bombed at, being shot at. You know, it's when I read utter garbage like this article that it really reinforces two things. Firstly, The Guardian should be boycotted. And secondly, it really reinforces for me just how important it is that we remember our war dead and our heroes and those who have gone before us and fought for us so that we can live freely. I will never consider remembering those who sacrificed so much for me a burden, lest we forget.